Alright, relate. Hey, y'all already know what time it is. I've been waiting to see my goats return to the big screens for so long, just so I could glaze the fuck out of them and hate on Korra. Like, I'm not even kidding. I've had this video cooking for a minute, but I didn't want to risk getting the FBI at my doorstep by releasing it ahead of its premiere. So I just had to save it until it's officially released, which was today. So hey, I'm not even finna waste more time. It is finally here. So let's dive right in. So the movie opens up with the goat of avatars, the one who would watch Korra anytime, any day, no matter what anyone says or whatever feats they point out. Bro was having a dream about his past where he was lapping niggas in an airbending race, like it was not even close. I'd like to see Korra do that without the avatar state, but his master, Monk Gyatso, lands on top of him and he ends up losing. They make it back to the air temple and Monk Gyatso tells him that he should know when to hold back as an airbender, even if he has the power to win. Please remember this statement, it will be very, very important later. But his dream quickly turns to a nightmare and we realize he's still being hunted by his past mistake. He wakes up to see Appa and Momo, and Bro was on a trip to his old home. He makes it to his destination and starts to walk around, reminiscing and collecting artifacts when he picks this stranger in this reflection. So he already knew what time it was. Bro didn't even need a reflection in the first place, so could sense them from a mile away. Alright, so peep game real quick. Brody comes off the top rope with a spear. Aang weaves it and then weaves two more strikes from Shorty right here, before the rest of them started to jump him. But Bro wasn't taking them serious and was just weaving and asking them who they were and what they were after. They ignored him and kept attacking, while Bro over here was searching through the artifacts. And can we just take some time to appreciate the animation of this movie? Like, holy shit, they cooked. Aang had enough, no Don Toliver, and blew them away with airbending. The other guy picks up a statue of a past avatar called Sun. Aang yanks it out of his hand before floating up to the structure. The guy with the spear launches two shorties up and they continue with the chase. The girl with the bow fires off two arrows. Aang then airbends and then the entire structure starts moving, slamming Shorty in her face. And she fell back down before the spear guy catches her. He throws his spear spinning towards Aang, but he misses Aang and cuts the rope holding up the structure, bringing it down. Aang wasn't really worried about them, but the damage they were doing to his old home. The strange girl comes up behind him and I can't lie, she's been putting in work this entire fight. She manages to get a hold of Aang's arm, and I don't know why he didn't just use fire to burn out of it, but let's continue. He has to talk and Shorty says no, saying that they are tired of living in a world where benders are superior to non-benders, and then says they are denied. Shorty with the bow then lights up an arrow on fire and then shoots at them, but it was heading right for her own teammates. Like, gang, what the fuck? Aang frees himself and then pushes her out of danger, but then an explosion happens. Don't know how, don't ask me. So now the whole building was coming down. The strange Shorty then asks surprised Aang saved it. Like, are you dumb? He's literally the avatar and literally puts his life on the line to save the world. Why the fuck would he not save you, bro? She then grabs the map and they make a run for it, but the building was falling right on top of them. So Aang rushes in and holds it in place for them to get safety, and then goes into the avatar state for the first time in this movie. Like, oh my god, bro, this shit was peak. Putting the building back in place before passing out for some reason, which pissed me off so much. But let me not even start. Appa comes in to save him and then they make way for Republic City. Yes, the same one Aang founded. My goat! And then we see the new intro. Like, this shit was fire, I'm not even kidding. Just see my goats all grown up. Kitara, Toph, Zuko, and of course, the goats of all avatars. Aang. And bro, I cannot forget my back-bending brother, Sokka. If you've watched my channel for long, you already know that he was the first member of Team Avatar that I covered on my channel. Aang then narrates the story of the entire series. Peak cinema, literally made all of us childhood before the movie actually starts. This day was the grand opening of Republic City to all other nations. And then we see some of the other ghosts from the series, like the cabbage guy and these guys. We then see fine shit Kitara giving a speech to the people, and oh my god. Like Zeph would say, she's so bad. She finished her speech and then Aang flies in with Appa. She goes to hug and kiss him before noticing he's been hurt. So later that night, she treats him and they have a convo about it in the night. Aang admits he was scared that if he had died, that would be the end of the airbenders, as he's literally the last airbender. Bro was not so happy because every nation now lived in Republic City. Every nation except his. And I guess this is the reason he gave all his attention to Tenzin as a father and ignored his other kids. Cause Tenzin was what he had been looking for all his life. Another airbender. Kitara tells him that he might be an airbender, but he's also the avatar and people need his protection. She gets through to him and he decides to find out more about Avatar Sonu. So he goes outside the city for some peace and quiet so he can meditate and enter the spirit world to talk with his past lives. But no matter who he talked to, no one had any idea who Sonu was. After a while of searching though, he comes across this 3-foot Earth avatar who tells him all he knows about it. So Sonu was an avatar from the golden age of the golden age of airbenders. I really gotta stop doing that, it's getting old. And legend has it she possessed a staff that could channel energy from the spirit world and grants its users the ability to bend. But after she died, she disappeared completely. It was as if she was never real to begin with. Aang then begs the 3-foot avatar to help him find her before the denied does. So he tells him the rest of the story and Aang leaves a note for Kitara, telling her he's going to go ahead and try and stop the denied denied from reaching the staff first, but she should gather the rest of the team and meet up with him there. So we go through this session where we see what the rest of the gang were up to. Zuko was ruling over the Fire Nation as Fire Lord. The backbender himself was surprisingly not backbending, like, girl. My goods lost his touch, gang. We then cut to my queen, my glorious blind bandit, the greatest airbender of all time.
Yes, sir! This nigga's spitting.
Toph Bayfong. Shorty was at her metal bending academy and asked a student to try and make her use her hands, like, oh my god, bro, the aura. So they begin to charge at her from all sides, and Shorty just listened and used her seismic sense before smacking. She already knew it was over. She weaves 3 attacks and then blocks into a double weave, into a slam, which ends up taking out 3 of her students. They stood no chance against my queen. She takes out 2 more before breathing out and aura farming a bit. Just look at this pose, bro. Like, oh my god, gang. This shit means something to me, bro. Mind you, she was doing all of this with her hands tied literally behind her back. The remaining 2 students charge him. Fatty yarns this bigger rock, but she actually pulls off the MJ gravity lane to weave it. And then this piece of metal came from behind dude right here, knocking him into Fatty. And then she magnetizes it to pull in the rest of them, bringing her before her looking sorry as hell. She then steps on them and then yells out,
I'm still the greatest earthbender in the world!
And yeah, she was. But then she says she's bored as this messenger pigeon lands on top of her head. Her students reads the message and it was from Aang, asking her to join him once more for another adventure. So we cut to Mount Beho, where Aang was climbing up the mountain in this insane blizzard. He gets a few close calls but eventually makes it to the top and discovers this shiny ice ball. After a little bending, he peeps that there was someone inside. Thinking it was Sonum, he bends a little more to free them. And after a few flashes of light and some dramatic effects and explosions, we see dude right here and he goes to see who it was. But then the mountain started to collapse, so he had to get out of there with him. They almost got crushed, but he bends them to safety. But now they were free falling and got separated. So after dodging and weaving a few debris, he makes his way over to the mysterious guy, still unconscious. He gets below him and then goes into the avatar stage for the second time this movie to stop their fall and weave the debris. But there was one absolute huge one and Aang was trying to outrun it, but he couldn't and got hit. And that's when our mysterious guy finally wakes up. And my goodness gracious, this nigga was an airbender. My life is complete, bro. Bro made a big airball for them to land upon before holding up this entire mountain with his airbending. Aang was completely shocked. Bro couldn't believe what he was witnessing. The rest of the gang pull up just in time and they also couldn't believe their eyes. They make it to them and then Aang grabs the new airbender and then they fly into Appa to get away. After a few more weaves and dodges, they safely escape the mountain and then comes the questions. Like who the hell this new airbender was? But he passed out before he could give them any answer. The next scene, we see Kitara hailing him and saying his chi was strong. We then get this funny scene where Toph was asking if he's attractive. And then Zuko gives us this yo moment saying he's very attractive. And then the rest of the gang giving a side eye of doom. The new guy wakes up and immediately tries attacking my queen. Like, bro, I fuck with you and all cause you tough. Get it? Cause he tried attacking. Okay,
Brother, this guy stinks!
my point is, I can't tolerate anyone who goes after my queen. I know she can handle them and all, like, easy. But still, Aang calms him down and then he asks about Avatar Sonum. But the gang catch him up on what's been going on this entire time. This just like when Aang woke up to discover all his people were wiped out by the Fire Nation. He then asked Aang if he possessed the staff, but Aang said he didn't and thought the staff was a weapon. The new guy then gives the gang a history lesson. And basically, Avatar Sonum led the airbenders of her time to spread peace all around the world. And she used the staff to give people airbending. And this new guy they just discovered was one of her first students and the first to get airbending through the staff. Aang was so overwhelmed with emotion, he ran outside to get some air. The rest of the gang joined him and he tells them the staff could be the key to restoring the airbenders back into the world. They begin to celebrate and Zuko hits Aang with this pose. And bro, some part of me believes they did this on purpose. He says they can undo the greatest atrocity his nation committed during the 100-year war. But Toph interrupts, saying not if they deny to get to it first. The new guy asks who they were and then they tell him. He then tells Aang to ready Appa for the journey and that they will be traveling across the ocean to the other side of the world. Before they met this guy, they thought there was nothing out there, but bro was about to prove them wrong. Kitara says they should get going, but bro tells him the sky is no place for a water child. Shorty got offended, but Aang explains to him that they are a team and that they do these things together before asking what his name was, and bro said it was Taga. So they begin their journey and Aang and Taga gets close. Taga even taught him this insane airbending technique which requires 2 people. Aang picked it up in a matter of seconds. That's why he's the GOAT. Later they have a convo and Taga reveals how he got trapped on that mountain, but he couldn't remember much. He then asks Aang why he hangs out with Zuko even though his people eradicated his. Aang then explains that Zuko was his friend and even turned against his father to help him win the war. Bro left out the part where Zuko was hunting him for years. Taga explains to Aang the airbenders always suffer at the hands of the other elements, but Aang explains that that's why they built to Republic City, a place where all the elements and non-benders can live together in harmony. But their little convo gets interrupted when the denied pulled up. They fire off arrows to capture their airship, but Aang and Tagga stop them. Their other arrows land and they start pulling the ship apart. But that's when Tagga steps in and starts displaying how tough he is, pulling out this insane move which begins to crash their airships. Like, bro, I don't think y'all really comprehend how tough and insane this is. Bro was single-handedly crashing their airships without breaking a sweat. But that's when Kitara noticed something was fishy, cause bro wasn't stopping, and it looked like he fully intended to finish what he started. Aang steps in to stop him before blowing the denied away. But then they ran into another problem, which was this crazy storm called the Immortal Storm. This was the final obstacle before their destination. Tagga then takes Aang to clear a path for the ship, and then the rest of the gang had to deal with a lightning strike, which just hit the ship. Aang and Tagga were destroying the tornadoes with airbending, and it was working, but there was way too many. Meanwhile, the gang was trying to contain the damage to the ship while Sokka was staring out of danger, but they were falling behind Aang and Tagga. Aang was worried and wanted to go back, but Tagga tells him to trust in his friends. The gang was still trying to fix the ship and get it back on track, but now they were falling into the sea. But that's when my beautiful queen, Kitara, steps up.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Cause Shorty stepped up and did like Moses, splitting the sea in two. I can't glaze this movie enough for the animation and the quality. Like, these artists really put their all into this movie, and I'm so sad. You know, I'm yapping, but let me just get back on track, okay? And after so many close calls, the gang gets the ship to work and starts flying back up to catch up with Aang and Tagga. Aang was relieved to see his fine shit, but Kitara was pissed, yelling at Aang about the fact that the ship almost crashed and was too risky, so they needed to turn back. But Tagga tells them they are almost there and they just needed to make it to the eye of the storm. So now Aang was stuck between listening to his queen or his new sensei. After a major argument though, he decides to push forward, and then he and Tagga work together one more time to punch a hole in the storm to ride through. And after making it out to the other side, they were met with this peaceful atmosphere. The gang then has another argument with Aang, but Tagga steps in and tells them not to blame him. And after talking them down a bit, Toph hilariously hugs his bigger arm, saying she forgives him. But Kitara was still suspicious of him. After all, she's been in a situation where she got betrayed, and ironically, she's now friends with that same person. Anyways, they make it to their destination and pierce the skeleton of the lion turtles. Yes, the same ones that used to grant human beings the ability to bend. Tagga then gives them another history lesson before telling Aang to connect with Sonum, since the spirit energy of the lion turtles was concentrated in this place. Tagga wanted to go along to help Aang, but Kitara insisted he stays and help prepare the ship. And after a little back and forth, Aang asks that he stay as well and that he'll be fine. Tagga agrees and Aang rides out with Appa. He gets close to the lion turtles and lets their spirit energy guide him to find where Sonum's staff was. Back on the ship, Kitara asks where Tagga was, and Sokka tells her he saw him walk off earlier. She goes after him and finds him speeding towards Aang. I don't even know how he knew which way Aang was, but Kitara approaches him, asking where he was going, and bro said he was going to protect Aang, and Kitara agrees before getting closer. Tagga then tells her he knows his way may seem unusual, but everything he's been doing was for Aang. Kitara wasn't buying it though, asking if it was for Aang or for the staff. Tagga then tells her she has no idea what he's been through and that she doesn't know a world with airbenders. Kitara goes on about this speech, saying Aang was the reason the world knows peace. Meanwhile, Aang had found his grounds and started bending all the 4 elements to activate it. Tagga and Kitara were going on this back and forth, where Tagga was saying there will never be peace among the elements and that Republic City was built on lies. But Kitara disagrees, saying that it was built on hope. She then says she knows what kind of airbender Aang was, but then asks Tagga what kind of airbender he was. At the same time, Aang finished his ritual or whatever the fuck that was, and the lights glowed in the distance. Tagga and Kitara noticed, and then Tagga says Aang possessed great strength, but he also had a great weakness. Before dashing towards Kitara, he weaves her attack and tries snatching her throat. But she freezes the water around his arm to block, and bro was mere inches from her face, like goddamn. He then comes in with a left, sending her flying. She catches herself with water, but Tagga uses the same move he used earlier to crash their airship. You know how confident you gotta be to try and take on all 4 of Team Avatar, Aang excluded. We cut to Aang unlocking the staff and then back to Kitara. She was doing her best to attack, but Tagga weaves all of that before he strikes back again, sending her flying. He then comes in with a swipe. Kitara weaves it and then he slams down, dispersing the surrounding water. But Kitara wasn't Aang's wife for nothing. She frees Tagga in place before crushing him with water. And just when you thought she finally had him, nah, this guy just shows you that he was a demon, making an air bubble around him to protect himself. He then attacks, but Kitara shielded herself with ice. The rest of the gang came in and with no questions asked, they began attacking like, bro, come on. That's why they are the goats, okay? Toph lifts Sokka into the air to attack, and then she attacks with this boulder, crashed it with air before knocking Toph back. Zuko tags himself in and then came in blazing hot, but Tagga uses an air bubble to shield himself. And then Kitara and Zuko tried attacking together, but Tagga was just that guy. He was weaveness satisfied. Kitara then enhances Sokka's boomerang with ice before he goes in swinging, but Tagga again weaves like gang. This nigga is just untouchable. And yo, I can't even lie, bro was making my goats look sorry as hell. Not a single hit has landed on him, by the way. He then kills Sokka with this this crazy move. Like, I'm not even joking. Sokka is dead after that. But we come back to Aang, and he now had the staff in hand. But just then he had Taga and goes down to show it to him, talking about all the good they can do. But Taga grabs a hold of it, saying that they can do this, just the two of them. Aang frowns, saying that he can't do this without his friends. And that's when Taga yanks the staff out of his hand, talking about how the airbenders killed his people and the fire killed his. It goes on and on until Aang realizes and asks what he did to his friends. But let's go finish up on that fight, shall we? After that crazy kick to Sokka, bro pulls out this insane move to flash step to Zuko. And again, can we just appreciate how insanely beautiful this animation is? He then uppercuts the fuck out of Zuko before jumping up to kick him back down. The impact was so crazy, the water below the spears and the edge cracked. Like, gang, how are they taking all these crazy attacks and still moving? Oh yeah, it's because they are the goats. Toph comes in with rocks, but Taga used the same flash step move to go up and grab him, and then slams her into the ground. And then to finish it all off, he pulls out one of the deadliest airbending moves we've seen in the entire series so far. I call it the Spear of Death. And then one shots the entire crew one by one, like he actually killed them. And now Aang was next. Aang realizes what he's done and then goes into the avatar state. And this part made me absolutely mad, cause bro was surrounded by concentrated lion turtle spirit energy, so there is no way Taga should have been able to keep up with him. But hey, I know it's just for the plot, so let's continue. He knocks Taga away, but that was the only attack he will ever land in this fight, cause Taga absolutely washed Aang. Like, it was honestly sad and infuriating how weak Aang's avatar state was in this movie. I don't care that Taga had the staff. Aang shouldn't have made this easy to beat. Even Appa came along, but Taga dealt with him easy before using the Spear of Death on Aang too, taking him out. They did my goats so bad, bro. Like, they were so wrong for this. There's no way that Aang should have lost this fight, but hey, Taga is just that guy, and I know it's just for the plot, so hey, let's move on. Taga then takes Appa hostage and then goes to meet the Denied, stopping the entire storm just like that. Like, hey. I'm sorry, bro, I wasn't familiar with your game. Before granting each of them airbending, and his plan was to build an airbending nation that would not be pacifist. Like, bro, that is actually a sick concept. We cut to Aang in grief in the spirit realm before he meets Avatar Son, tells her what happened, and she tries to blame Aang for her mistakes. Like, bro, what the fuck? Aang then shifts it back to her, asking her how she could give airbending to a monster. She then tells him the real story from the beginning, and I'm not gonna lie, this video is already way longer than I planned. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and skip a few things. Basically, Taga was good at first, but after witnessing his comrades die in battle, his heart turned dark and he wanted to fight back. Sonam disagrees with him and they had a crazy fight, after which Sonam used her power to seal him for whatever reason. I guess no Kyoshi would have slimed that nigga out without a second thought. She then chose to hit the staff away so no one could use it instead of destroying it, and that's about the gist of it. Aang then gets revived by Kitara, not healed, revived, because he was literally about to die. The reason she was able to do that was due to this spiritually enhanced water. So now the gang was back and they had to stop Taga. But after Taga took Appa and destroyed their airship, they had no way of leaving. But that's when Aang decides to call upon his old friend, the Ocean Spirit, who opens a portal to the spirit world. So they was going to use the portal to get to Republic City. Taga was going to use the staff to summon Sonam's temple from the spirit world to Republic City, so that he could use that as his new base for the new airbenders and also gain unlimited power. They make it to the spirit world and get different bodies because the spirit world was currently out of balance. They then met this crazy spirit, and after a little convincing, he helps them to get up to the temple. They get back their normal bodies and realize that the temple is going to crash and destroy Republic City. So the mission was simple: stop Taga from his goal and rescue civilians. But that wasn't going to be so easy, cause now they had to face off against the new airbenders, who are already really good fighters. They then split up and Aang goes after the staff while the rest goes after the Denied. And bro, I'm not gonna lie, the Denied were moving clean with airbending, applying it to their fighting style to enhance their attacks. They even managed to knock Kitara and them off the temple, but Appa comes in clutch and saves them. Kitara tells them they have to get the civilians out of there, but then the arrow girl comes with fire arrows enhanced with airbending, blasting the fuck out of them. Sokka landed in this warehouse where he found one of the floating bikes he invented. Back to Aang, and he was still getting worked by Taga. We then cut to Kitara and she was facing off against the Denied before getting attacked by the Strength Girl. She was one of my favorites simply because of her fighting style, because she fights like Scorpion. Kitara tries to talk some sense to her, but my absolute favorite Denied member comes in with her arrow, and she might be one of the most dangerous members with the way she be moving. Just look at this. But then it seems Kitara actually got through to the Strength Girl because she realized all the distraction they were causing. We cut to Aang in the Avatar state, and even though he's been at this entire fight, he was at least holding it down now. He wrestles with Taga over the star before we cut to Zuko, also handling business. But hey, even though I fuck with Zuko, I'd rather talk about my queen Toph instead. Toph arms herself with metal and then gets to work, and oh my goodness, this scene was immaculate. This was so great, I couldn't even put it to words. But she took care of every single one of them before using a catchphrase. But then she sensed the spear guy coming in from behind, so she shielded herself to block his attack before knocking him back. He returns the favor, trying to blow Toph off her feet, but she enforces them with earth. He just kept spamming until she got overwhelmed and sent flying. Luckily though, Zuko came in clutch and saved my queen. Kitara then comes in too, but then she ran out of water and they got surrounded. But that's when my back-bending goat came in with his own invention and changed the odds in their favor. They managed to take all of them out easy, but now the temple was actually here and it was crashing the city. The denied members ran off, but then the strange girl stayed behind to help rescue civilians. Back to Aang, and he was proving the haters wrong, putting belt to eye on Tara. Had bro panting and sweating. But Tara rushes in and pulls another insane move. This guy is really a demon. Elbowing Aang in the face with air before grabbing the staff and racing towards the center of the temple to plant it. He gets to it and does just that, unlocking the full power of the spirit world and a new form. Aang couldn't really keep up before, but now it was just pure bullying. But hey, at least the animation is beautiful. Tara then backshots him away, no pause, had his avatar stage glitching, before using his flash step move to close the distance. And then hits Aang with a move so diabolical it had an airbender gasping for air, and then kicks him away like a bitch. Oh my god, not my goat. Aang looks below to see all the distraction Tara had caused and then decides to lock in. Finally, gang, Tara comes in from behind saying he should have run away like he did all those years ago. But Aang says he's not gonna run, and then Tara replies saying then at least he would have died knowing he's not the last airbender. He then kicks him away and pulls out a Spear of Death 2.0. This shit was looking diabolical. It all looked over for Aang, but this was where he proves why he got those tattoos at only 12 and why he's the greatest. He uses lightning redirection to redirect the attack and uses it to flash step Tara. Even Tara couldn't believe it, but bro didn't know this was the creative menace, the same guy who be inventing new moves mid-fight. He then uses a move Tara actually taught him in a completely different way to throw Tara off and then grab the staff. He then races back to the center of the temple while Tara chases him with attacks, but he weaves and gets to it and then plants the staff, also gaining access to unlimited spiritual energy and unlocking a new form. And bro looked like an absolute menace. His aura was so overwhelming everybody could feel it. Aang started to bully Tara. Oh, how the tables have turned. But he was letting his anger get the better of him, and Kitara noticed it too. Aang continues to pound Tara into the floor, no pause. Tara then decides to rage bait Aang, and now he was getting overwhelmed with anger and getting corrupt. He was preparing to end Tara, but then this floating cloth with the symbol of the Edomas reminded Aang of who he truly was. And that was all he needed to find his resolve. He then destroys the staff for good, something Avatar Sonam should have done long ago. This took away bending from all who received it through the staff, and then Aang gave this beautiful speech, after which Tara faced off into the spirit world along with the temple. And yeah, that was the movie, y'all. This was absolute cinema. The animation, the sound design, the plot. Although I know lots of people are going to hate on it for different reasons, I enjoyed watching it. Like, I had a great time. I don't know why we didn't get to see the other goats like Suki, Ty Lee, May, but hey, this was a great movie and they didn't deserve to get leaked. Hopefully that's numbers in the box office so it gets more Avatar projects. But that's gonna be it for me. Like and comment your thoughts down below. I would really like to know what y'all think. Subscribe and turn on notifications and put your friends on to pick content. I love y'all, and until next time, YC out.
This is the fight of our lives, and we're gonna win. Whatever it takes.
Listen to your mom.